The whole QC Sportsnet crew in the house. Tonight we are going to talk about the Tuesday games. First off, we had Moline beat Orion 71-56. And Joe, this was one where you said Brady Walsh just went off in this one.
He had a great game. First of all, good to see everybody. It's like a family dinner. We're gonna start passing some stuff around.
Get real close to each other.
Yeah, we're jam packed in here. But yeah, an amazing performance by the Maroons. One that you really like to see them continue to take steps in this process for the early part of the season. And Brady Welch was phenomenal. You look at the start that they've been on, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's become a superstar. Like, he's become a really good player. He had 34 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists on Tuesday night. He had 29 in the win against Rocky. He had 30 the weekend prior against Urbana down in Shelbyville. He's averaging 23 and a half points per game so far, which I would assume is leading the conference. I think Arthur, Abby, and Devin Marshall in conference. I'm sure Devin's scoring per game is still pretty high, and Arthur in conference had some pretty gaudy games. So those three guys, obviously, scoring pace have been pretty high. But yeah, Welch has been fantastic, and a lot of other guys coming along as well. Lonte Anderson, Abe Peterson being a very high-level glue guy with, he had 11 rebounds against Rocky, had another 6 last night, their leading rebounder. And then Josh Hendricks chipping in as well on the scoring end. So it's been some very, very impressive stuff from the Maroons here in this stretch now, 7 in a row after winning yesterday.
And Grant, you saw a good win too. UT won 63-53 over Richwoods. Now it's Richwoods' first loss of the season.
And it was UT's biggest win of the season. They get a big bounce back after only scoring 33 points in a loss on the road to DeKalb on Saturday. So not only is it a bounce back, it's the biggest win of the season. It's a win over a really good team that has some Division I talent on that team. And I think a big credit to the Panthers in this game is weathering the storm, because there were 3 combined technicals in the game. There were numerous moments of pushing and shoving, where at one point an assistant coaches had to jump in the way, referees had to get into the way. So it was a chaotic game, but UT weathered this storm. They were leading going into halftime. They never let Richwoods. Richwoods got back into the game, but never got uncomfortable for the Panthers. They got much needed good performance from Octavius Hickman, who was very consistent throughout the night on each side of the floor, and he had almost 15 rebounds in the game. And then Jordan Massey, Tyler Horvath, those two have been excellent at the guard position all season, and they needed to be big for the Panthers last night, and they were. So that's a huge win over a really good Richwoods team, and they'll be feeling good heading in these next couple ones.
And Ken Sterling coming into Rock Island Friday night. What do you see from the Rocks before that big shootout game on Saturday against North Scott?
Well, they'll have a bounce back game. Sterling has suffered major losses each of the past 2 seasons to graduation. So it's a bit of a rebuilding with Sterling. So they're not at that level that we kind of got used to seeing them at for a few years. And so Rocky should be fine for that game on Friday. But you don't ever want to look ahead past anybody. Not that Rocky was looking past Moline, but bit of a trap game. They hadn't faced anybody good until then. So they need to mind their P's and Q's on Friday and take care of business against Sterling.
What can you see from Moline before and with Allman before they play in the shootout game against
Pleasant Valley is what they got on Saturday. For Friday, I think it's kind of the same thing. Just continue their process with continuing to get all these guys more and more experience. I think offensively, if they can have somewhat close to the same type of performance they did against Orion, I think that'll be another good sign.
And then we have the big shootout games. I already mentioned Rock Island, North Scott. That ends the night on Saturday over at Augustana. But you have UT and North, too. So how do you see UT with that one?
Panthers coming into the game well rested, while Davenport North is going to play in a Friday game. So UT is going to kind of have the edge when you look at rests. But I don't know how much you want to read into that. But I just mentioned Panthers going to be feeling good. They have won 3 of their last 4 off a huge win. No easy tests here in this big environment at the Carver Center. But if the Panthers can continue to get the defensive effort that they've gotten and the rebounding effort, then even for a team like them that hasn't shot a super high percentage to start this season, they still are going to be able to find ways to keep the other team in check. Davenport North hasn't been a great offensive team this season by any means, but still defense is going to be the first thing I think that the Panthers look at in this game. That's been the major success for them so far this season. And then the offense hopefully can start to fall into place. We saw it against Richwoods. Hopefully more of the same on Saturday. But UT trying to keep this hot streak going.
And Joe, Coach Hillman and Coach Taylor both kind of joked how they always usually face each other in this shootout. How does this matchup play out? Do you think this one this year?
It's a fascinating coaching matchup. Two of my favorite guys in the world when it comes to the coaching aspects. Steve Hillman, fantastic coach, Pleasant Valley, tons of success. It's a fascinating matchup. Pleasant Valley didn't have too much expectations coming into the season, and they have been probably them and Bettendorf too has been a bit of a shocker. But Pleasant Valley probably been the best team in the MAC. They play Friday against Muscatine, who most people will say actually is the best team in the MAC this season. So that'll be a big test for them before the game on Saturday. But just as a whole, I'm excited for this day in general, because the fact that the Quad Cities, we've had this for so many years. This single day event, it's so cool to see both sides of the river, that continuous, and you get that kind of sense of pride from all the coaches as well that want to have the success and want their side to win. And it's been a bit of a streak now after there was such a long period of time where Illinois dominated. Iowa's been dominating now for the last 5-6 years, I believe. So
yeah, they won 9 straight. Actually.
Yeah, okay.
The COVID year 2000, there was not one, but they've won 9 straight shootouts. Iowa has, going all the way back to 2014, the last time Illinois actually came out victorious.
And I think
it's an amazing streak.
And I do think Illinois' field of teams this year is a bit deeper. I
was going to say, yeah, I think I'm not something to say this year.
Yeah, I think Allman is. I'm very fascinated to see them on Friday. Their youth has finally kind of grown up to be, to a team that they really feel like they're starting to take a bit of a stride with. And Geneseo has been a team that I've paid attention to. I love their head coach, TJ Lacey. Met him at the preseason coaches banquet. He's got so much juice and energy, and they've racked up some nice wins to start the season. They're having some success in the holiday tournament they're in this week, so that should be a fun one, and hopefully it can give some Illinois some kind of juice at the beginning of the day. But the Moline Pleasant Valley game, I think, is probably, when you think of just records and how the teams have been playing, probably at least going into, we'll see for PV on Friday and obviously Moline as well, but up to right now, I would say those are the two best teams on each side of the river that are playing the best. And another fascinating note as well, which is this is one of the events a year where we'll see a shot clock. In both. UT got the chance to use one on Saturday in DeKalb and on Tuesday against Richwoods. Rocky and Moline have been in events that we have not seen them. Rocky did
in their Thanksgiving tournament.
Moline did not. So
they wanted to have 4 games 4 games with that. They only got 2.
2, yeah. So,
but they did have it for a couple of games, yeah.
So for Moline, and Iowa does use it. I think next year's the year Illinois is going to the full-time shot clock, so still not ready for that. But that'll be the first time Moline will have played with that. So that'll be a bit of a factor, at least in that game as well.
And the star power end of the night in that North Scott Roth Allen game, that's going to be fun.
Well, it is definitely going to be fun. It's going to be a very high profile game. But now I think every year you have the seeds have to be drawn up very, very early in the season. And so a lot of it is based on the preseason expectations of what these teams will do. And there certainly was no disagreement with the consensus to have Rocky 1, UT 2, Moline 3. The Maroons have upended that entirely by beating both UT and Rocky, right? So if they did the seeds today, Moline would be the number 1 seed just based on what they've done, right, on the court. So it's very interesting there. Moline is the 3rd seed, but maybe beyond their seed, right? Geneseo is another one, the number 6 seed. Maybe they're beyond their seed. All of this could factor in to making Illinois competitive and maybe have a chance to win this year. Being on the Illinois side, they don't want to get confident about their chances. But, they can be competitive. What was it? I think it was 5-2 last year. And Illinois won the last 2 games after being down 5-0.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be 5-0 going into the last 2. But you never know how these things will go. But that Iowa winning 9 straight is a real remarkable streak. And then one other little tidbit about the shootout is 15 guys have scored at least 27 points in one of these shootout games over the years. And I was thinking, who is the most likely to maybe get on that list? And I don't think, is there any doubt about who we think might be the most likely to get on that list this year would be Brady Welch.
Yeah, Brady
The way he's been
Brady. I would
disappointed.
say
That's
Brady.
the first name I thought of. Yeah.
I would say there. If I had to just spitball and snap call a couple, Brady Welch is obviously one. I think you look at Devin Marshall for Rock Island as well as Arthur too, because of the style of game they play. If that game just turns into a track meet, then and if one of those guys just happen to be the ones that start getting going ahead of the pack, in fact, if it turns into a transition game, those are two guys that could definitely Lawson as well. But those two guys have been the ones so far that had big outbursts. Jack Christ is one as well for Geneseo. He had a game when they beat Quincy a couple weeks ago, 37 points, 11 rebounds. So on the Illinois side, there is definitely a few people that could maybe etch their name on the list onto this list, and it's some impressive names. I mean, shout out to my guy Trey Buchanan from UT, 34 points in what was an all-timer game against Bettendorf in 2016. Isaiah Rivera broke it or
Twice.
did it
He's
twice.
up the list. Yeah, 2 30-plus point games.
Yeah,
Shootout.
West DeClerc, former Riverdale Ram, then went to Monmouth. He had it for what felt like forever. He had it at 32, and he had it for 7 years here. It looks like. I remember calling that game, and when he broke the record, and then it stood forever. I was like, is anyone ever going to get it? And then we finally have had some other ones do it. But yeah, it's definitely a real. When you look at this, that's what another cool thing about this event. You just look at the names that have been able to chip in the record books. It's so neat and so proud that we get to be able to call this event every year. It's really cool.
Yeah, trip down memory lane for both of you guys, seeing all these names and
That is for sure.
going down the list. And yeah, like you said, you guys are both calling those games as well. So, excitement is here.
All 7.
Yeah, we'll be there all day. And the coolest part, I said a lot of things about this are cool, but really the coolest thing is just the steady growth of the crowd. In the morning, it's beautiful. It's kind of cavernous, but there's a good amount of crowd there. So, but like it starts buzzing if the games in the morning are really good. And I've seen some early morning games that have been really good, but the day continues to build, and more people just continue to get in. And by the time you get to that 4 o'clock game, the 5:30 game, and by the time you get to the main event, it's like that upper part at Augustana, which is the walkway around the top of the bowl. Just standing room, and it's packed deep. So
it's great.
It's so cool. I love this event. It's honestly just for the sports calendar that we cover. It's my single one favorite day of the year.
Well, and they do it right. One low admission price. So a lot of folks may be fans of one of the high schools, but then they come to see multiple games because it's going to be so entertaining.
Can't wait till Saturday at the Carver Center. We'll see you there.